Eugene O'Neill, born October 16, 1888, New York, died November 27, 1953, Boston, Massachusetts. Eugene, who was born in a hotel, spent his early childhood in hotel rooms, on trains and backstage. Although he later deplored the nightmare insecurity of his early years and blamed his father for the difficult, rough, and tumble life the family led, a life that resulted in his mother's drug addiction. Eugene had the theater in his blood. He was also, as a child, steeped in the peasant Irish Catholicism of his father and the more genteel of his mother, who influences often in dramatic conflict, which account for the high sense of drama and the struggle with God and religion that distinguish O'Neill's plays. O'Neill was the first American dramatist to regard the stage as a literary medium and the only American playwright ever to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature. Through his efforts, the American theater grew up during the 1920s, developing into a cultural medium that could take its place with the best in American fiction, painting, and music. Until his Beyond the Horizon was produced in the 1920s, Broadway theatrical fare, apart from musicals and occasional European import quality, had consisted largely of contrived melodrama and farce. O'Neill saw the theater as a valid forum for the presentation of serious ideas. Filled with a tragic sense of life, he aimed for a contemporary drama that had its roots in the most powerful of ancient Greek tragedies, a drama that could rise to the emotional heights of Shakespeare. For more than 20 years, both with such masterpieces as The Sigh Under the Elms, Maureen Become Electra, and The Iceman Cometh, and by his inspiration to other serious dramatists, O'Neill set the pace for the blossoming of the Broadway theater. The Sigh Under the Elms is essentially a story of solitude, physical solitude, the solitude of the land, of men's dreams of love, of life. The God behind existence, created on his New England farm, is a harsh God who is alone and is not understood. The minds of the people in this story are shaken and tinged with loneliness, with torrid passion, with the trivial, the intense, the drab exaltation and denial life. Underneath, the solitude desire works, the redemption through love. The children of old Cabot hate him. The youngest, the son of the second wife, remembers his dead mother, bored to death, and sings her about place, risen from her grave. The father brings home a third wife. The two older sons go away to California. The younger stays and thinks to revenge his mother. In time, he and the young wife come to love each other. A son is born, which old Cabot thinks is to be heir to the farm, leaving the second wife's son adrift in the world. While they dance in honor, the newborn child goes in the kitchen. The father and son quarrel outside. The son believes his father when he hears that the woman wanted a son only to cheat him out of the farm. He reveals her, to prove to him that it was the love of him and not desire for the farm that had driven her to him. She kills the child. He runs off the sheriff. The father turns the livestock loose in the woods and plans to go away. But when he finds the money gone for its hiding place, he believes that God another time has willed that he stands by the farm. The son returns for the sheriffs. He falls at the knees of the woman, takes part of the blame of himself, and they go away together to prison. Ephraim Cabot, age 75, the owner of the farm. He is attached to the soil. In an extraordinary way, he would prefer burning down the farm at the moment of his death rather than to let anyone inherit it. His physical appearance resembles a stone. His features are hard. Unlike his sons, he is a tough man, so tough that he is almost completely deprived of all human characteristics. His only visible weakness is the pride of his own strength and his greediness. He is short-sighted, which is symbolical also of his behavior. Towards the end of the play, he seems to be capable of some basic human feelings, seems to love Abby. But he fails to modify the overall impression of all Cabot as a selfish, oppressive, and nearly bestial creature. There is hardly any hero in the play, but Ephraim Cabot is the worst of the anti-heroes. He ends up in Sussex, but of a peculiar nature. The farm remains in his possession, but he is left alone, hated by his family and loved at by his neighbors. Simon Cabot and Peter Cabot, age 39 and 37 respectively. Ephraim Cabot's sons from his first marriage. They are not especially attached to the land. Their motive for working at the farm is getting their share. They are primitive and rough. Evan Cabot, age 25. Ephraim Cabot's son from his second marriage. Both his physical appearance and his behavior resemble a wild animal. He is reckless, does not respect his father, dishonest, frequently leaves the farm for night to see his lovers. He is weak, even womanish. He attends women's duties at the farm. Even competes with Ephraim Cabot to win the farm. He subconsciously works toward inheriting the land. He is also his father's rival in love. More favorable aspects of his characters are revealed toward the end of the play. Unlike with these former lovers, he is apparently in love with Abby, for whom he is capable of personal sacrifice. He ends up in failure, but in contrast to all Cabot, he achieves at least some kind of moral victory in defeating some of the defects of his nature. Abby Putman, age 35, Ephraim Cabot's third wife. She is an immoral woman with sensuous face. She gives the impression of a calculating woman capable of anything to reach her aim. First, she marries old Cabot in order to get her own home. Then she murders her child so as not to lose Evan's love. Toward the end of the play, when Abby and Evan are in love with each other, the actions of both are endowed by an aspect of humanity previously not manifested in either of them.
Desire means big passion and ambition. Each of the characters has a different desire. Even Simeon and Peter like properties, money, and power. Even like inherit the farm and the house. Simeon and Peter like travel to California to find gold and have a better life. Even and Abby have sexual desires. There is lustfulness between them. The stone wall represents a cage that makes the house is so remote. A stone wall means paternal forces, harness of living inside the farmhouse. A sky can represent the probability of future. Even a friend always expects something good in the future. El Trin means maternal forces, femininity quality of David, and it is related to Abby and Evan's mom. O'Neill embeds the elm trees with symbolic power. Abby says, I killed him, Even. Abby is a Medea figure. In the Greek mythology, Medea takes revenge on her husband Jason for leaving her for a new woman by killing that woman and her own children. Both Abby and Medea kill their children. Even says, them eyes of yours can't see that far. Cabot is described as nearsighted, but he is stronger than Even. This is a metaphor thought for how Cabot is unable to see the relationship between Abby and Even going on right underneath his nose, because he is selfish and stubborn. Abby says, I mean I'm their new mouth. Even has the Oedipal complex in which a son desires to kill his father and marry his mother. Even claims to still be connected to his deceased mother and desires nothing more than to revenge her early death by claiming the land that she embeds her blood and sweat in. Some of the features of this play are use of common speech or common language, unlike the characters in classical tragedies. Peasant peasant dialect. Readers have to exert a lot to understand the conversation between characters. Use of common speech patterns adds a realistic aspect, and creation of an original contemporary drama, best known as modern drama. Some supportive literary theories are realism as an aspiring modern dramatism. O'Neill experiments with realism within the framework of myth. Naturalism. The naturalism in this play results from his life experiences, influence of Sigmund Freud's thoughts, and his intense interest in the Oriental philosophy. As a great playwright, O'Neill transcends the limitation of naturalism and manifests his individuality. Expressionism. O'Neill's entire struggle intends to move toward expressionism. We can clearly notice the presence of expressionistic elements in design under the ends. The main conviction of expressionism is that the character does not follow the idea but is interested in himself and what he does. At the end of the play, Abby and Eben don't follow the idea of repentance, rather they continue to affirm the gravity of their love. Symbolism. Eugene O'Neill has made an extensive use of symbolism in his play. Psychoanalysis. O'Neill uses the contemporary Freudian theory of Oedipus complex, the ancient Greek legends and myths.